My 24F boyfriend, 31M, got trashed at a wedding where I was the MOH, embarrassed me and himself, proceeded to lie about some things too. About a year and a half ago, my best friend became engaged to her now husband. I was asked to be the maid of honor and was extremely happy to do so. Over the past year, I helped her with whatever needed to be done. Throughout all of this, I talked to my boyfriend about it. He knew how happy I was for her, that I had a big part in the wedding, that my parents would be attending, and everything else I knew about the wedding. He knew the day and time and what would be expected of him. For what it's worth, I didn't talk his ear off about the wedding. I would only really bring it up if I had gone, for example, dress shopping or doing something with my friend. However, last week, a couple days before the wedding, he started to act kind of weird about it. He said something along the lines of, "I know you don't want to be involved in the wedding. It will be over soon. Then you can forget all about it and everything will be normal again." I've been nothing but happy and excited for my friend and this wedding. But he continued to act like I wasn't having fun and tried to convince me that I hated every minute of helping my friend plan her wedding. Last week, he kept talking about the wedding as though it was something awful and stupid. He treated it like an annoying chore we had to do and complained about having to go. He even asked me after the rehearsal dinner if he could just skip the wedding entirely. Keep in mind, I had already RSVP'd for both of us, and my parents were expecting him. He just dropped that on me as we were going to bed the night before the wedding. He also never expressed his congratulations to the bride or groom at any point. The wedding was this past Saturday. I told my boyfriend what time he needed to show up. Lately, he has been notoriously late for everything, like several hours late to anything he's invited to. He's always been late, but it's been getting ridiculous. A lot of times he's late because he's hanging out with one of his friends, smoking weed, and playing video games, and loses track of time. I didn't want him to be late to my best friend's wedding, so I basically told him to be there 3 hours earlier than necessary. I told him he needed to be there at 1 p.m., when in reality, he needed to be there before 4:30 p.m. He showed up around 4:30 p.m. He got there right as the cocktail hour started and got drunk. I was told by someone else that he was pounding back beers as soon as the bartender started serving alcohol. Then he sat with my parents and told my mom if I didn't come to this thing, OP would have killed me. Once the bride and groom were announced as Mr. and Mrs. X, my boyfriend loudly cheered and clapped while everyone else clapped normally. It wasn't a very big wedding, so it was weird and awkward when he did this. It stood out and was obvious that he was already inebriated. Multiple people looked at him with a what the fuck expression, and I felt awful and embarrassed. After all the photos were taken, he found me and told me that work had called and that he needed to go in ASAP. Before the wedding, he assured me he had taken the day off and that his work, he's a bartender, knew he'd be at a wedding that day. I knew he was lying, but I didn't care at that point. He left via Uber, supposedly to go to work. When I finally got home around 2 a.m., he told me that work didn't actually need him, that he forgot the name of the venue so he couldn't Uber back, and that his phone was acting weird and couldn't send a text. He said he really wanted to come back to the reception, but he couldn't make it happen. Obviously, those were all lies. I feel like his behavior was abhorrent. I'm so pissed off at him right now. I'm looking at him in a new negative light, and I can't stop thinking about how awful he was throughout this whole wedding event. I know some people act weird about weddings sometimes, but this takes the cake. Is there any coming back from this? I feel like I'll always be pissed off about what happened. I don't know if I can forgive him.
I've thought about ending it with him because of this. I don't know if I'm overreacting or not. I don't think he has any intentions of apologizing. We haven't talked about the wedding much since this past Saturday. He doesn't think he's done anything wrong. What do I do? Am I crazy to think his actions were god-awful?
Girl, he sounds like a toddler. You're a girlfriend, not a mother. Why are you putting up with this?
Honestly, I don't know. We've been together for about 4 years now, and he wasn't always this bad. But I've noticed his behavior has gone downhill over the past year. He's cut back hours at work and makes just enough money to get by. He just wants to hang out with his friends who don't have jobs. He smokes for free with them. I think this may be the last straw, though. I'm going to have to end it with him. It just sucks because he wasn't always this bad.
Consider that he was always like this, but you're growing up and maturing, whereas he hasn't. 4 years put you guys at 27 and 20. Might be that you just didn't notice because you had different priorities.
This is a strong possibility. When we met, I was in college. Like a lot of college students, I went out, partied a lot, had fun, and stayed up super late. But now I'm working full-time and going to grad school part-time. I want to be successful in the future. He has basically stayed the same these past 4 years. He always talked about going back to school and finishing his degree or doing something else with his life, but he hasn't done anything with himself. I don't think I really saw that or cared when we met. I was only 20.
How long have you been dating? Have you two discussed marriage? His behavior was horrendous. I don't know if I would forgive it. My guess is he saw you all happy about the wedding, doesn't want to commit, got scared you'd expect a proposal, and deliberately sabotaged everything because he's a giant, immature douche canoe.
We've been together for about 4 years. We've talked about marriage. He's brought it up in the past and said it would be great if we got married one day. I told him I wanted to wait until after I finished grad school and we moved into a house first. However, I am rethinking our entire relationship now. After reading some responses here, I feel like I probably won't be able to forgive him after this. What is the benefit of staying with this guy?
He sounds awful. I was surprised to see that he is my age and not in his early 20s. My boyfriend hates weddings and big parties and many traditions, but he lets me know. He has GAD, so I understand. We have agreements about which events are mandatory and which he can skip. He doesn't pull weird manipulations like this. I don't think I could be with someone who jerked me around and lied like that. And he's 31 years old. That's too old for this shit, in my opinion. How do you even communicate? Mutual affection and respect.
This was the first time he pulled this much shit to get out of an obligation. Before now, he has been okay going with me to various friend or family events. This also wasn't our first wedding together. His aunt got remarried last year, and he didn't freak out then. In the past, he told me straight up if he didn't want to go to a party, and he stayed home. That was fine. Edit. I did not expect this to blow up like it did. I wanted to create a throwaway account so my post wouldn't be noticeable. Oh well, my boyfriend uses Reddit, but I don't think he goes to the relationship subreddits. I've tried most of the comments here and have been thinking about what you all said. It's basically confirmed that I need to end things with him. I actually tried to end things a couple of hours ago. He doesn't seem to be accepting the breakup. He started apologizing and saying he'll try to be better. I'm currently at a friend's house for the night. I brought some things that should last a couple of days, but I'm really not sure what else to do. Both of our names are on the lease, and he's still at the apartment. Thank you for all the help. Reading through the comments basically confirmed what I already knew. I need to dump him. I'll try to post an update in a couple of days. As of now, he doesn't seem to want to leave the apartment. Update. First, thank you to everyone who commented on my last post. It gave me a lot to think about and confirmed things I wasn't ready to admit to myself. Second, there were some frequent comments about my ex I wanted to clear up. Some people thought he had anxiety around weddings or people he didn't know. He knew the bride and groom very well. We used to go out on double dates a lot. He even spent some one-on-one time with the groom. He knew a lot of other people at the wedding. He only sat with my parents because my parents didn't really know anyone else besides the bride and a few friends who were bridesmaids or part of the wedding. He is a social butterfly and has been to more weddings than me. He's even gone solo to a couple of weddings he was invited to, no +1, for former coworkers while we were together. Many people suggested he had a crush on the bride. I can't confirm this, but I lean toward no. It's possible, of course, but it doesn't matter now. All I can say is that they are complete opposites, have very little in common, and he would consider her not his type. Not an insult to the bride. She is a beautiful person. I am considered his type. Again, he may have had feelings for her, but I never picked up on it. After I initially tried to end it with him, he texted, called, and DM'd me, basically using every means of communication possible to get my attention. He started by apologizing profusely and asking for another chance. I didn't respond because I didn't know what to say. I turned off my phone before going to sleep and woke up to a ton of voicemails and messages. He sounded extremely angry, called me names, told me I hated him, and said the classic line, "You'll never do better than me." Some of the last messages he sent were him apologizing for leaving those messages because he was drunk and that they didn't count. Whatever. The apartment issue has been a nightmare. It's going to be extremely expensive to get out of the lease and have only his name on it. Apparently, they need both our signatures, and I'll need to pay a fee. I still had to pay rent for March. The lease isn't up for several more months. I can't afford to pay 2 rents at once. I did manage to get my stuff out. I called the bar he works at and talked to a woman I felt comfortable with. I told her my situation and asked her if she could call me the next time he showed up for his shift so I could get my things. I had a bunch of friends come to the apartment with boxes and plastic tubs and got most of my stuff. Unfortunately, my TV, it's huge, sofa, and a couple of other larger items couldn't be grabbed, but I got everything important. When he found out I took all of my stuff, the text messages and voicemails began again. He spewed more vitriol at me and demanded I come home immediately. The next day, he started sending apology messages. He also told me he's willing to forgive me and move on from this mess. Whatever. My current challenges are trying to find a place to live for the next few months and dealing with the current lease. I have friends who understand my situation and are letting me couch surf for a bit, but it's not a permanent solution. I'm still trying to figure out how to get out of this lease, but the apartment management has been difficult. I'm not totally convinced they need both signatures, but that's what they keep stressing. The worst case scenario is that I have to quit my job and live with my parents for a bit. They are an hour away, and drive an hour to class a few times a week until the semester is over. Thank you for following my story.